Hello guys, nice to meet you again. Today I'm going to talk about hypothetical conditionals. In the previous video that I sent for you, I talked about real conditionals. But today I'm going to talk about hypothetical conditionals about future and present time. It is related to lesson 6.2 of your book, and I'm going to teach you by giving examples and PowerPoint slides. Please pay attention to my words and the PowerPoint slide that I have prepared for you. Hypothetical means something that is imaginary, something that is not real, something that cannot happen. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint slides, and I'm going to give you more explanations about hypothetical conditionals in the future and in the present. But before that, I ask you, please ask your questions in the group or in my POE, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Okay, let's go to hypothetical conditionals about for present and future. We use if plus past simple plus would or wouldn't plus infinitive to form a hypothetical conditional. It is the base. It is the formula for making hypothetical conditional sentences. We use a hypothetical conditional to talk about an imaginary situation in the present or future and its consequences. Look at the examples. If I knew the way to the museum, I would tell you. It means I don't know the way to the museum. And the other example is, if I won the lottery, I would never work again. It means I'm very unlikely to win the lottery. It's an imaginary situation. Would is often contracted, and it will be I'd, you'd, he'd, we'd, they'd. Would not is contracted to wouldn't. Therefore, the contracted form of would not, and the negative form of would is would not, and the contracted form of would not is wouldn't. Look at the examples. If we had more money, we'd buy a bigger house. We wouldn't live in the city if we didn't need to. Okay, look at the next point. Please pay attention to the next point. It is possible to change the order of the clauses. Notice that there is a comma after the if clause in the first example, but no comma in the second example. In the previous video, I talked for you about if clause and result clause in the conditional sentences. And we had a similar point like this in the real conditionals. Look at the example. If we had children, our lives would be very different. And the other form of it is our lives would be very different if we had children. Okay, please pay attention to the next point. With the verb be, it is possible to use were instead of was. And look at the sentence. If he was or were a liar, he would tell you what to do. Okay, please pay attention to the next point. Use if I were you to give advice. Therefore, if you want to recommend something to other people, or if you want to give advice to other people, we use if I were you. If I were you, I'd tell him your plans. We don't say if I was you. And it is possible to use could. In the in the hypothetical conditional sentences, we can use could instead of would. Okay, let's go to the next slide. These sentences is about present or future situations. Some situations and some activities that will not or are not very likely to occur. They are not real, they are not possible, they are only imaginary. Look at the form. Of course, I told you the form in the previous slide, but here it is repeated. If plus past tense, comma, plus would or could, plus verb stem. It means the basic form of the verb. Okay, look at the examples. If I had $1,000,000, I would go on a long vacation. If I played professional baseball, I could make a lot of money. And the next point is a verb to be. The past form of the to be verb is were. In class 2 conditionals, when you need to use the verb to be, always we use were after if. This is called the subjunctive. We can say if, look at the formula, if plus subject plus verb plus comma plus would or could plus verb stem. Look at the examples. If I were a bird, I could fly, and if she were my daughter, I would love her. Okay, these are sentences about hypothetical conditionals. But I should tell you something about these slides. And here, it say class 2 conditionals. You know, class 2 conditionals means hypothetical conditionals. They have similar meanings. They have the same meaning. The four class 2 conditionals is the same as hypothetical conditionals. Okay, go to next slide. Here is the alternate form for present hypothetical situations. Where may be used in place of if to form the class 2 conditionals. However, this is usually only done in very formal situations. Therefore, it is not ordinary, it is not usual. We can omit, or we can erase if from the sentence, and we can use where instead. Look at the form verb plus noun plus comma plus would or could plus verb stem. This is the formula. Or we can use verb plus subject plus infinitive plus comma plus would or could plus verb stem. As you see, we don't use if in this kind of hypothetical situations or hypothetical conditionals. These are alternatives for the ordinary hypothetical conditionals. Okay, look at the examples. If I were an American, you would not take ESL classes. And the alternative form of it is, were you an American, you would not take ESL classes. The other example is, if I were a woman, I could have a baby. The alternative form, if we don't want to use if, is, were I a woman, I could have a baby. The other example is, if I bought a new car, my wife would be happy. The alternative form without if and with where is, were I to buy a new car, my wife would be happy. And the last sentence is, if I went to Russia, I would visit Moscow. And the alternative form is, were I to go to Russia, I would visit Moscow. Okay, let's go to next slide. Here, again, the formula is emphasized: if plus past simple plus wouldn't plus infinitive, and you can see the examples. Okay, here you can see the other examples and more examples here with if. If it were fine tomorrow, we would have a barbecue. If Mary found we should invite her to dinner. If you were getting bored, you could do something else. If they wouldn't give us a raise, we'd take a strike action. If David gave Celia the job, I might resign. If Romana would come tomorrow, we could finish the project, and if you could do that for me, it would help me a lot. Okay, go to next slide. Here I'm going to talk about should. As with factual conditionals, should can be used in the if clause. It has a meaning similar to happened to or changed to, suggesting that the speaker sees the possibility as more remote than with the distancing is related to past tense. Okay, here, you know, factual. I'm going to talk about factual. I'm going to talk about the meaning of factual. Factual has the same meaning of imaginary or hypothetical. Therefore, they're similar. They are synonyms. Okay, look at the example. If you should see Paul, he would be happy to hear your news. Please pay attention to the point, the distancing verb form in the main clause. Here is would be, makes it clear that this is a hypothetical conditional. Less likely, it is less likely in the speaker's mind than the situation expressed as a predictive conditional. Okay, look at the example. If you should see Paul, he will be happy to hear your news. Look at verb 2. Verb 2, for all persons with a meaning very similar to should, is also used in hypothetical conditionals. Okay, look at the examples. If you were to see Paul, he would be happy to hear your news. Okay, please pay attention to the last point. As in other cases, where the old subjunctive form where is used for all persons, there is a growing tendency for was to be used in the first and second persons singular. Okay, these were some points about should. Go to next slide. These are more explanations and more examples about should. If it were or if it was to be fine tomorrow, we could finish the painting. Look at the inversion in even more formal English. When should and where to are used, if is omitted. If is omitted in English, and subject and verb are invented. Should you see Paul, he would be happy to hear your news. And were it to be fine tomorrow, we could finish the painting. Okay, so this was some points about should, and this is the last point, and this is the end of my presentation. Okay. Thank you for paying attention to hypothetical conditionals. These were some more explanation and some more details about hypothetical conditionals. I try to give you a short and a comprehensive summary of hypothetical conditionals. Please study them well and please ask your questions if you have any. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for your attention. Goodbye.